If you give your heart to me, I no go let you go. Where I no go do you.
Hi everybody, it's Joyce here from Black Hair Compass, and I'm coming to you guys with a video after a bit of a hiatus. It's the holidays and I wanted to take some time to myself, but nonetheless I am back here with another topic for discussion. I'm just gonna get right into this video. Anyone who has kind of taken some time to reflect on the American Black community and how we have progressed as a people and where we are present day, if you've ever taken some time to think about that, and especially if you are a part of the natural hair movement, you kind of understand that over the years the Black community has in many ways internalized thoughts of inferiority about their physical appearance. It's part of the it's part of the foundation for why relaxers are so popular amongst Black women and some Black men. It's the reason that I remember when I was younger, if I had any new growth coming in from my relaxer, some of my friends, or I won't call them friends, but people I went to school with would kind of make fun of me for having nappy roots, and they would use that term as an insult. And it's part of the reason why a lot of people just don't feel comfortable, wearing their natural hair. They just don't feel comfortable with it. They need their hair to be in a relaxer, or they need to have their hair in a weave because they just don't feel comfortable with their natural hair. And that's part of the reason that I started this channel, was primarily because I want to teach and I want to be a source of information for people who are looking for, education about how to maintain their natural hair. But more so than just teaching you, I want to be a source of esteem for people with their natural hair. Like I said, over the years we have internalized a lot of negativity about our hair, and my channel exists to combat that negativity and instead affirm that our hair is it's a positive thing, that our hair is a beautiful thing. Our hair is fine just the way it is and is not in need of being fixed by chemical means or synthetic means. That's why I have my channel, because one, I want to teach, but ultimately I want people to feel esteem. I want people to feel self-esteem with their hair and our beautiful afro textured hair. So with that being said, I wanted to take some time and discuss some terms and phrases that as I have gotten older, I understand should not be a part of my vocabulary if I am someone who is perpetuating positivity about natural hair and not perpetuating negativity about natural hair. So I'll start with the term nappy. This is a term that it's an interesting one, because when I was growing up, nappy was regarded as a bad word. I remember one time I came home from school and told my mom that my friend, who happened to be a white girl, saw this guy walking by us, and he obviously had not had a haircut in a while, and she said, he needs a haircut, his hair is nappy. And I remember when I told my mom that, she responded with such great offense. She was deeply offended by my friend using that terminology to describe a Black boy's hair. And so I knew then, even though I didn't quite understand all of the baggage behind that word, I knew then that it was something that wasn't good. I later on had my own, I had a relaxer and my roots were growing in, and I think one of my family members was like, man, her new growth is really nappy. And I remember, again, my mom very quickly snapped back, correcting them, telling them not to use that terminology to describe my hair. And so ultimately, nappy, as far as I understand it, is a term that was historically used to describe Black people's hair, and it was to disparage them. It was not something that was a word that was used to show respect or show admiration, but instead was something that was used to mock Black people's natural hair. And current day, that word is kind of being taken back. We have a lot of popular, even here on YouTube, popular YouTube content creators who have the word nappy or some form of the word nappy in their channel name. And so I think that for today's day and age, it's a term that is shifting from something that was negative and is now becoming positive. So it really just depends on where you lie on whether you're going to use the word or not. I personally don't, because even when I see that the word is being used positively on social media, in real life, whenever I hear that word, it's someone who is criticizing a black person's hair, or a black person who is criticizing their own hair by saying, oh, my hair is nappy. They mean it in a negative way. And so because that's the way that I keep seeing it play out, I don't personally use that word. Another phrase that I wanted to talk about is the phrase bad hair. It plays right into what we understand about nappy. This has, and I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but this absolutely has its roots in notions relating to white supremacy. The idea with white supremacy as it relates to the black community is that there is something innately superior to whiteness and physical features pertaining to whiteness, and also that there is something innately inferior about blackness and physical features relating to blackness. And so whenever we hear the phrase bad hair, when someone says that, what they're ultimately saying is that person has very Afro-textured hair. And so when you understand that that's how that term is being used, it kind of makes it very difficult for me as a black person who has Afro-textured hair, who comes from a family full of heads of Afro-textured hair. It's not a term that I want to perpetuate. I'll never say about myself that I have bad hair, or that my sister or someone I go to school with or someone I work with has bad hair. I would never say that, because ultimately what it's saying is that, you know, black people's hair, the way that it grows out of their head, is bad. And so it's not a term that I use. And to be a little bit more specific, when people are talking about bad hair, they're talking about hair that's very cottony, very kinky. It doesn't have a defined looping curl pattern. And that's actually the majority of black people. A lot of black people don't have a defined curl pattern. They have zigzags. They might have a few curls in there. They might have a plethora of curl patterns, and we would call that, like, you know, bad hair if it's not something that is super curly and can easily be defined and grows down. Like, that's not good. So it's not a term I use. I don't use terminology like bad hair when describing myself or someone else. Which leads me into the next term, good hair. I hate this term the most of them all, because this is how, when I just mentioned before that, you know, this idea of good hair and bad hair has its roots in white supremacy and the belief that there is something superior about whiteness and something inferior about blackness, it really comes to light when we're talking about good hair. Because ultimately, whenever you hear someone say that someone has good hair, what they're saying is that it may be someone who looks as though they are interracial because they have a defined curl pattern. It's very clear ringlets that grows down and long. And it's something that we as the black community have come to identify as a common outcome whenever there is an interracial joining and there's an interracial child born. They tend to come out with curly loopy hair, and we call that the good hair. And anything close to it, even I've been on the receiving end of being told that I have good hair because I had have a defined curl pattern that when I put gel on it, it's very defined, and so I was told I have good hair. I hate this term so much. I never use it. I don't use it to describe myself. I don't use it to describe other people. And ultimately, it puts me in an awkward position when I'm on the receiving end of it, because I know that the person who's saying it is saying it from a good place. But ultimately, what they are implying by saying, oh, you have good hair, is that the more common hair type amongst the black people, which is just afro-y textured, kinky hair, is bad. So again, that's another term that now that I've come to understand exactly what it means, I don't use it. I don't use it. And the last phrase that I want to talk on is the "are you mixed with something" comment. I have been on the receiving end of this too, again, because I have good hair. and I've been told, oh, your hair's so beautiful, you gotta be mixed with something. What are you mixed with? Guys, I am pleading with you above everything that I have discussed in this video. Please do not perpetuate this, because when someone says, oh, your hair or your face or your general appearance is so beautiful, you got to be mixed with something. What are you mixed with? Again, what they are implying is that blackness, when in itself, is not attractive, is not beautiful. So if you come across someone who is black and they have beautiful hair, it's gotta be because they've been mixed with something. It's not the phrase, it's never the phrase itself. It's what is being implied with the phrase. And so when you understand that question of, oh, you have beautiful hair, what are you mixed with? When you understand what that actually means, it's something that you have to stop saying if you're going to be demonstrating self-love and love for the people that you come from. You can't understand how what are you mixed with, what that actually means, what you're saying about yourself and what you're saying about black people, and keep saying it if you are someone who loves yourself and you love black people. And so that's why I made this video today, because I want to talk about some of the comments that I've been seeing coming up in my comment section and things that I just hear in conversation throughout my day and throughout my life. And I want to address them and bring them to light, because ultimately when people say things like good hair, bad hair, are you mixed with something, I don't think they know exactly what it is they're saying. So that's what this video is here to do, to teach you not just the phrase, but what the phrase is implying and why it's something that you should eliminate from your everyday conversation and vocabulary. But anyway, as always, thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any thoughts on the things that I discussed, please leave them in the comment section below, and let me know if there's anything else that I left out. Like, what are some things that you guys have noticed that really don't demonstrate a love for self and a love of the black community at large that you've had to since let go of because you now know better? Leave those comments in the comment section below. But again, as always, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time.
I go to your body like skin tight, where I go day by your side. 10 times when I